Russia drafts 134,500 conscripts but says they won't go to Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian service members march during a military parade on Victory Day, which marks the 76th anniversary of the victory over Nazi Germany in World War II, in Red Square in central Moscow, Russia, May 9, 2021. Register now for free unlimited access to Reuters. London, March 31. President Vladimir Putin on Thursday signed a decree ordering 134,500 new conscripts into the army as part of Russia's annual spring draft, but the defense ministry said the call-up had nothing to do with the war in Ukraine. On March 9, the defense ministry acknowledged that some had been sent to Ukraine after Putin had denied this on various occasions, saying only professional soldiers and officers had been sent in. Register now for free unlimited access to Reuters. Putin's spokesman said at the time that the president had ordered military prosecutors to investigate and punish the officials responsible for disobeying his instructions to exclude conscripts. Mikhail Benyash, a lawyer representing several members of Russia's National Guard who refused an order to go to Ukraine, said that under Russian law conscripts could be sent to fight after several months of training. Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24 in what it called a special military operation to demilitarize and denazify the country. In recent days Russia has reframed its objectives, saying it never intended to take the capital Kyiv and other major cities but is focused on liberating eastern areas where Russian-backed separatists have been fighting the Ukrainian army since 2014. Its statements have been greeted skeptically by Ukraine and Western governments.
This post received a score of 43,000, with an upvote ratio of 84%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Not saying they won't go to Ukraine, but they draft the same amount of conscripts 2 times a year for many years now.
The more interesting question may be if soldiers start getting their conscriptions extended to beef up the raw troop numbers. Though it doesn't sound like Russia is going to be capable of cycling their soldiers for multiple deployments in wider Ukraine. At a certain point, you're not refreshing your own troops, but just feeding poorly trained boys to a hardened resistance machine. They will replace conscripts who were drafted in the autumn of 2021. It's business as usual, although fewer conscripts than usual are returning home this time. This was what I was thinking too. Their military is largely conscript-based, there'd have to be a new draft eventually. They have 2 drafts per year, spring and autumn.
Do they have rounds? Could be cool for their LinkedIn first-round draft pick out of Moscow by Russia.
Fired over 10,000 bullets from premium Russian weapons, drafted first to die in the Ukrainian war, team player and motivated to win, open to new opportunities.
No wonder Russia is performing so poorly, this dude just fired the entire ammunition supply.
The phrasing is kinda clickbaity in implying that the draft is caused by the war. It's not, it happens every year, once in spring and once in autumn, it's a standard, regular thing. The fate of this draft's conscripts is much more worrying than any of the previous drafts due to the war, sure, but the draft would have happened either way, war or no war. Yep, these numbers are consistent with previous years. They drafted roughly the same amount both in spring and fall of 2021, and they, on track to draft roughly the same number of men as in the past 3 years.
The relevant part. Greater than in fall of 2021, and they, on track to draft roughly the same number of men as I wonder what the numbers were before the war started in 2014.
So, they will go to Ukraine. Only after they sign their mandatory contract.
Only after they're told not to read it.
If you can read it, you disqualify.
It's in traditional Chinese anyway, just sign it and take this map of Ukraine.
You mean, not Ukraine?
Little Russia.
Let me run that through the old translator here and 134,500 poorly trained men will be heading to Ukraine in the next week or so.
Correction, poorly trained and poorly supplied.
No supplies, you mean?
Well, does having 3 bullets, body armor filled with cardboard, summer shoes and expired rations count as being poorly supplied or no supplies?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.